Every year, Q4 is a crazy time for reselling, and this year was no exception. So I sell primarily shoes and clothing, and even though there are a lot of returns, with web scraping, I'm able to go through hundreds, if not thousands, of variations to find the best selling items and list those for sale. So for this Q4, around Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I spent a lot of money purchasing items, getting ready for the Q4 rush, which typically lasts around mid-November to mid-December. The time frame runs out where items will arrive before Christmas. So what I'm going to do now is take a look at what sold in early December, and I will show you the sales that happened on Amazon. I'll take a look at the profit, what I was able to purchase the items on, and take a look at some Keepa charts that shows you exactly what happens with these items around that Q4 timeframe.
Here you can see my Amazon orders. I'm looking around the December timeframe. You can see there was around 1,000 orders in the last 90 days. And looking at some of the things that sold in early December. So we'll start with something like this, which is New Balance shoes. And I'll look at the sheet that I was using around that time. So this is the Smart Analyzer. This shows the prices and things that I was using to source. And as an example here, you can see this one had close to 40,000 items in this particular scrape between the ones that are on Amazon that are also sold at Kohl's. And of those, this was a really good sale. You can see I had almost 1,500 items to choose from, 3,000 good and another 4,000 average. An average is usually at least 30% ROI, but maybe not great sales velocity. And then you can see some of the items here, but I'll go over the ones that actually sold. So what I'm doing is using my built-in profit calculator, where I can simply enter this and what it sold for, and it'll give me information. So using this as an example, I sold these pair of New Balance shoes. I was able to purchase them for $43. When I sold them on Amazon, it sold for $87.74. That left me with a $23 profit and a 54% ROI. So you can see those shoes over here on as well. And I'll start looking up some additional items. So this item, another pair of New Balance, sold for $135. So I just simply go back to here, put in that SKU, and then say it sold for $135 and calculate my profit. You'll notice up here, my tax rate is 0, not because I'm in a tax-free state, but because when I make these purchases, I ship them directly to my prep center, which is in a tax-free state in Delaware. And my average shipping cost from that prep center to the customers is around $8 per item. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but the average is around $8. So you can see I plugged in this one. I was able to purchase this for $51.97 and sold them for $135 for a crazy 105% ROI. And that was a $54 profit on a single pair of shoes. So let's take a look at that item and see what happened and why it was that price. So right now in January, it's $89.96, so the price has gone back down. But if you look at Keepa and you look at that time frame that I was selling them in, what happens is, of course, at Q4, Amazon frequently sells out or has a hard time keeping those in stock. So you can see right around that December 1st timeframe, you were getting items that were way up high. And at that particular moment, I was able to get that sale for $135, which is what sold on that time. So you can see that was on December 1st, and that was the buy cost at $135 at the time. So let's look at Skechers. If I copy this and put in my $54.45 buy cost, it'll give me the details on this. So my floor ROI is typically around 25 to 30%. I should not be going lower than that. But here's another great item where I only paid $23 for this item, but it's sold for $54.45, and that was a $15 profit, 66% ROI. And again, I can view this item on Amazon. It'll show me exactly where it was. So right now it's around $49. But again, if I look at that December 1st time frame, It sells out, the price jumps up, and there you go, is that price around $59 jumping around. So again, that's why Q4 is so crazy and also good, is because that time frame, it's just very hard, even when Amazon is on a listing, for them to keep it in stock. You can see these are primarily shoes. I don't sell just shoes. There are some other things like pants in here, but we'll get to those. So I'll look up another item. This is $124.20 that it sold. 20, I put that in there and calculate the profit. So this, again, on a single item, I was able to buy this at Kohl's for $65.44 and sell it for $124.20. That's a $32 profit on a single item, 50% ROI. Taking a look at the item on Amazon, you can see around that December 1st time frame, we have a similar chart, I imagine. Yep, exactly. So when Amazon's on the listing, you can see the prices as low as $47.97. That's not good news if you're trying to resell. But when Amazon sells out, look what happens to the price. It jumps up, and you only have the offer count is hovering around 1 or even sold out. So you could pretty much name your price. If you're sourcing these and you're performing web scraping and you're finding these deals, you can buy them and jump on these listings right away. Remember, all of these sales that I was doing were FBM. They were fulfilled by my prep center. I wasn't shipping these myself. I was purchasing them and shipping them directly to the prep center. But the prep center, as soon as I had an order, usually the next day, they're able to take that and ship it directly to the customer, which is huge because I can jump on listings right away, not have to wait that 3 to 5 weeks. So we'll take a look at, I'll take a look at the pants. So these sold for $82.99. I will plug that in to get an idea of different types of clothing. So when this one sold, it sold at a $22 profit. So this was a buy cost of $40 from Kohl's, sold for $82.99. That was a 55% ROI, meaning I made $22 after shipping, after fees, including my prep fees. It's all baked into my cost. So that's the end profit that I'm able to grab. I'll take a look at this on Amazon just to show you again that time frame. Once Keepa loads, we have the chart, and that's going to show probably a similar thing. Amazon's not on this listing, but you can see that it was pretty crazy around the time period. So if I zoom in, it was jumping around depending on how many sellers are in stock, and it goes all the way up to $100, $90, down to $75. So just when you were able to catch it, the price was definitely fluctuating. But on this one, I was able to get in there and grab that at an $82 buy cost to make that $22 of profit. Going down the list here, we'll look at these sold for $143.22. We'll see what I ended up paying for it as I calculate profit. You can see here, I paid $76 for these boots. I sold them for $143. I made $36.74, 48% ROI on that single item. We'll take a look at that. This was one that sold well, but it doesn't have the greatest sales rank. It just noticed that it was an item that people were finding. So it had a 60K BSR, which isn't bad. And you look at the Keepa and look again. This is exactly where scraping, this sourcing tool, is really going to shine. So right when Amazon is on the listing, the price is down. As soon as they fall off that listing, look what happens. The price goes up to that $139.65. So when you run these scrapes and you run these scans of the items, it's going to find items just like this, where Amazon was on the listing, boom, they fell off. The amount of people selling it is going down. Look how often it was sold out. Imagine if I had bought enough of these to keep selling them over and over. I would have been the only seller, and I could have had that high buy cost. So I wish I would have bought more of those, but you can see as an example, Amazon falls off the listing. You can find these, get the items quickly, jump on that listing, get it while that price is elevated. Now, if I had sent this into Amazon and I did FBA and it took a while, look what happens. What if Amazon comes back on that listing? Now they did, and they weren't able to stay in stock, but if they were in stock and my inventory is at FBA, I'm stuck at a $73 buy box when My cost was 76. So that would be bad news. So it's good to jump on these listings immediately while they're hot and be able to capture those sales and get your money back quickly. So we'll look at some other items here. If I take this one, another New Balance sold for $117.86. And this is built into the AI analyzer. You could do the same thing on yours to analyze your sales or look up specific items. So again, this one I was able to purchase for $61.59, sold it for $117.86. That's a $30 profit for this one item, 50% ROI. We'll take a look and see what happened on Amazon for this one. And again, you can look at the price right now is only $90. So if it was 90 and my buy cost was 61, it definitely wouldn't be a 50% ROI. It might be close to break even or a little bit profitable, but obviously during Q4, again, look what happens. Amazon's on here. Everyone's going crazy for Black Friday and Christmas. Boom, they sell out. That price jumps up. They're briefly back on the listing and then it jumps back up again. That's a great way to capture supply and demand. It's when Amazon or the brand or someone else sells out and you jump on the listing, that's when you can really capture a good ROI for items, even if they don't normally sell for that price. So I'll look at here. We have a Nike jacket or a hoodie. This sold for $78.24. I will plug that in. $78.24 is the price it sold. And this one, again, we're looking at $37.54 buy cost for this. And I sold it for $78.24. That ends up being a $20 profit and 56% ROI for a hoodie sweatshirt. That's really good. Again, we'll take a look and see, is it still $78 right now? Actually, it's unavailable. So you can see that sometimes these just run out of stock. A lot of Nike listings, if you're able to still sell them, Amazon or Nike is not on the listing, so it's third-party sellers. So if I could source this item now, and if I could still get a $37 buy cost, I could still get a really good ROI. But you'll see around this time frame, it was having a really difficult time keeping it in stock. And when it was in stock, you can see the price was in that range, in the $80 range. And that's how I was able to get that $78 buy box at that time. So we'll look at some other items here. This is another Nike shoe. This is an XE and sold for $106.77. I will put that in here, 77, and calculate profit. This one, again, right around 50% ROI. If I could get 50% ROI, I would take that all day long. And in Q4, you absolutely can, and sometimes even more. My buy cost was $54 on this one. The buy box was $106. That means after everything, I made $27.89, 51% ROI. Take a look at that on Amazon. Let's see right now, is it $106? We can check and see the buying options. Actually, it's even more expensive now. Maybe it's difficult to source, but again, you can see what happens with these, especially around Christmas time. If you zoom in, you can see the price jumps way up there right around that December 1 time frame. This one sold for $106. It probably could have even gotten more because I was at that $109, $106 area right around December 1st. Eventually it jumped up to $129. And if you can see how the number of sellers are jumping around here, probably means that they were getting sales. So they probably even made more than I did, which is crazy, but absolutely true. It's why you use a repricer and put in boundaries so that you can control what you're making and automatically reprice when other people go out of stock. Here's one that sold for $125.80. Whoops, that's the wrong field. I put that in here, $125.80, and calculate profit, another 50%. So 66 was my buy cost. It sold for $125. So just one item, I'm making $32.52. That's 2 hours of DoorDash, or a lot of times that I see that. When you have the right tools and you're able to do reselling like this, you can definitely make a good side hustle, even if it doesn't replace your job, even if it's not something that you're looking to get a warehouse and sell $8 million a year. If you just want to have a side hustle that you can bring in a few $100 here and there, or build it up to a few $1,000s a month, definitely not hard. And you can do this from the comfort of your home. And as you scale, you won't even have to touch the products. you can have it go to a prep center that does all the work for you. So if I look at this on Amazon, let's see if it's around 103. So not too low. It was 125. Again, you could see that activity going pretty crazy around that December 1st timeframe. A lot of sellers, it's jumping up and down as far as availability. And you can see that buy box price at that $125 mark there. And that was pretty consistent. And even now, it's been around 120, and depending on when it's in stock and who's selling it. So again, if this goes back on sale, maybe I can still get it at a $66 buy cost. That would definitely be something I would look to replan and sell again, especially at that 49% ROI. Looking at some other items here, what is interesting? We have another Nike. Let's look at this one. This is $102.02. So if I go in here, plug 102.02, calculate the profit, again, a 50% ROI. And I bought this one for $51.98 from Kohl's. I sold it for $102.02, $26 profit, 51% ROI. So it's very consistent. And I have no complaints about that at all. That is some really good prices. So let's see if it's still 102. Right now, there's the suppressed buy box. And we look at the buy box and it is 99. That's actually not bad at all. Again, if you go deeper on these products and buy a bunch at once and hold on to them, products like these, if they go back on sale, it's a great buy. So you can see right around that December 1st, look at the prices going crazy. It's around 96. And then look at that availability is going way down. And then it goes back up in December when it's getting a little bit too late to arrive by Christmas. But we were able to capture that at $102 and make $26 profit. Again, no complaints there. Here is a jacket. This one was $101.51. And all of these are found within the scraping sheet and this AI analyzer. These are the ones that it would say, hey, you should buy this because of the velocity, because of the ROI. And remember, on this particular one, I had 1,497 that it considered excellent. That's way more than I can afford to buy. But you can see there was just some really great deals around that time. And even when it's not Q4, there will be sales, there will be promotions, there'll be stackable coupons. Like you can still manufacture a really good margin, even if it's not Q4 anymore. So for this one, I purchased it for $40. I sold it for $101. So look at that, $37 of profit after expenses, after shipping, after the prep center fee of $5. That's a 94% ROI. I would like to do that more and more. And we'll take a look and see what was happening on Amazon. Why was it at that price? And you can see right now, it's even more. It's 124. But if you look at what was happening at that time, a lot of sales activity going crazy around December 1st. And then you can see that different prices that were coming in. There's the 101.51 right around December 1st. And it jumped up even from there and is still a really good buy. These items will go back on sale and the scraping tool will find them. And then all you have to do is make the purchase, list it, jump into that buy box and get the sale and replenish and do that over and over. Or if it's not the same item, you can do multiple items. So you can see this one, I actually sold a very similar one. Actually, it's the different size of the same jacket. So a lot of times I'll try to find the one that has really good velocity and a really good price point. But if they're all similar, I'll buy one or two different colors and different sizes of the exact same jacket and then sell that over and over. So then you'll see those items in there repeated multiple times. Let's see what else. Here's another Nike. This one sold for $93.99. Just spot checking these. If I do $93.99, calculate profit, again, 57%, not bad. So I'm spending $45. The buy box is $93. With my profit, I'm basically getting back $70. And that's a 58% ROI. Let's see if it's still $93.99 on Amazon. It's right around that because of the $10 shipping. It's around $95. So again, these prices actually stayed stable even after the Q4 madness. But you can see here, people are finding sales. The inventory went up a little bit. The buy box is fluctuating as people are repricing and competing and selling out. But I was able to get that purchase at $93.99 and capture that $26 buy cost. So again, I'm just going down the list here. We could take a look at these, might be a little bit lower in ROI. We'll take a look. I've sold a lot of these cool zip boots. This is $98 exactly. So I will plug that in and calculate profit. Yeah, actually, this was 65% ROI. So I sold a lot of these, and these were very popular. It just happened to be an item that sold very well. It didn't have a lot of competition. So with the sale, I was able to buy these, and I bought a bunch of them for $45, $42. This one sold for $98. That's a $30 profit, 66% ROI. And we could take a look and see what was happening on Amazon. Again, this is out of stock. It's a hard to find item. Kohl's did sell out of these very quickly, but I was able to jump on when I saw this in my scraping sheet and make a bunch of purchases. You can see Amazon was on the listing, and as soon as they sell out, look what happens to the price. Boom, there's your $98 buy box. And right before that, it was $58. It's just supply and demand. Like, they're sold out. What are you going to do? You can buy it at $98, or you can not buy it. Or of course you could look and find it at Kohl's, but a lot of people will just think that Amazon price is the price, and they won't really comparison shop, or they just prefer to, everything's on Amazon, their address, their payment method and everything. And they're just like, you know what? I'm going to buy it, especially around Christmas. I definitely sold several of these. You'll see them listed throughout here. And let's see if there's anything else interesting. These again are Nike $103.99. Might as well take a look and see what this was. And Nike, some are gated, some are not. There's a lot of them I can't sell, but there's a lot I can. And there doesn't seem to be a real rhyme or reason for that. But this particular one I bought for $46.20, sold it for $103.99. And that's a 34% or a $34 profit, 74% ROI. Again, I would take that all day long. We look on Amazon. Is it still 103? Right now, the buy box is suppressed, so we can check that real quick. And it's actually 130. So if you saved these and we're going to list them now, you could get it, a lot. But look, it's restricted now, where I was able to sell it before. I'm not sure why, but if you look at the December 1st time frame, look at the supply here, going from 9 offers all the way down to 4. And not because there's an IP complaint, but just supply and demand around that time. And then again, that December 1st time frame, you're looking at $103.99, all going up to $113. And right now, because no one else is selling it, the person's asking $130, and who knows, they may get it. So with that one, I was able to get that $103.99, which is a great ROI. And so you're looking at, these are all sales from the same day. I was doing really well when I had made all these purchases, had them ready to go, had them at my prep center. All of these were coming in and just really killing it. So we'll take a look at another Skechers. This is a different brand, but the easygoing kind of boots sell well, and they still sell well now because it's still winter. This was $132.64. If I paste that, $132.64, we'll calculate the profit, 36%. So you see, again, not everything is 50%, but even though it was only 36%, because I was paying a little bit more, I was paying $76 for these. I sold it for $132. Now I'm still making $27, but that is a 36% ROI rather than 50, 60, 70%. So it's still a lot of dollars profit. There's a little bit more risk if those get returned. That could hurt a little bit, especially if you sold it for $132. But in general, anything north of 30% ROI is good. And I also have cashback credit cards. I have Mavely, which I use for my cashback promotions. So not only am I making the $27 profit here, but I'm making a little bit more as well, especially with a high purchase price of, we can see what's happening on Amazon here. Again, they're sold out now. And if I look at what was happening around that time frame, even Amazon was raising the price, but they eventually sold out, and then boom, look who got that $132 sale price. And once I sold it, that was pretty much it. I should have bought more. But yeah, so you can see exactly what happens. And you can see this one, it only has a little over a year and a half of history. Amazon is on there, but look what happens when they're not. The prices jump. and the scraping software will find those for you. Looking at a ThermaFit, we can take a look at this at 76. So again, different types of clothing, a lot of shoes were very popular. This one came in at 41% ROI. So I bought it for 40, sold it for 76, have that $16 profit, 42% ROI. Again, not bad at all. We take a look and see, is it still $76? Right now, the buy box is suppressed and looks like it's around $70 plus $8, about $78. So again, that's still pretty high, but you can see around that time with December 1st, the price was jumping all around. Look at the BSR on this. Very high, 4 million or something is not one. And you can Keepa looks a little strange because of that. But hey, in Q4, when you find something like this and you have an upside, it makes sense to jump on that listing. And even now, even with that high ROI or that high BSR, people will find it. Even if a 4 million rank, someone's searching, especially for this specific model, they'll find it and they may be willing to pay for it. So again, to summarize, this was the list that I was buying from. Tons of good deals. If I click on here and sort by the reviews, which shows me the velocity on here, that will basically show me what are the fastest moving ones. What are the ones that have the most ROI? So I can sort by any of these columns, but look at these ROI on all these items. So not only are they high ROI, but a lot of times they're selling a really good velocity. And especially in Q4, like just a ton of things sell. And even if you're not selling clothing or shoes, you could be selling toys, you could be selling home goods, you could be selling grocery, you could be selling games, you could be selling kitchen. This works for anything. I like the clothing just because look at the items. There's 39,000 variations because of all the different colors and sizes. So it's easy to find really good ones here. But look at these. Some of these have a crazy amount of sales per month. And even if it's not a super high ROI because they're socks, if you can get something for $12.94, sell it for $22, even if you're only making $5 profit, what if you sell 100 of them or 200 of them, right? So stuff like that is definitely great. And then you have the other ones that jump up, like 80% ROI for something like this is 84%. It sells about 200 per month. And that's saying high velocity, good profit, scale up, buy a bunch of them at a time, immediately list them, and then you'll start getting those sales, especially with a low buy cost, but selling it at 40 with an 87 or 84% ROI. That's great. If you're interested in doing this, like I said, it works great any time of year. You simply go to aiproductsourcing.com. Once you're there, click on My Account, go down to the page here, and I'll show you. You can go to My Account and sign up. When you click and create a free account, there's no billing required. You just need your email address and your name. You'll get an email confirming that you have 1,000 products to scan for free. And from there, you simply go to submit a job. We have 36 different stores to choose from here in the supported sites. So all of these sites, you could scan anything that you can search for. And so you can see there's a wide variety of different things. And then once you do that, you simply go into run the job. When the job's done, then you have your AI smart analyzer that's going to say, hey, these are excellent, these are good. And you can just use these buttons to open them up side by side for vetting, make sourcing decisions, and purchase or have a VA do it. So this is definitely shooting fish in the barrel. I highly encourage you to give it a try. If you have questions, I'm happy to do a demo. I do work with people one-on-one. I do also have a newsletter that you can sign up for. Good thing about the newsletter here is that you'll get free lists, you'll get free leads. So I'll send actual vetted leads, but also the entire list that you just simply click and open it in the AI analyzer. Plus it'll have my podcast updates and sourcing tips, sales, ways to get margin with cashback, credit cards, and places like Rakuten, Top Cashback offers and things like that. So I encourage you to give this a try. If you're looking for a side hustle, you want to either replace your job or just make some side income, this is a great way to do it.
Just because Q4 is over does not mean that you've missed the boat. There are plenty of sales and things that happen early in Q1 and basically throughout the year. There'll be Valentine's Day, there'll be President's Day sales, there'll be other clearances and things like that. So if you're interested in learning how to use the product sourcing tool to find these items where you can resell them at a profit, make sure you follow, subscribe, like the video, but also subscribe to my newsletter where I actually share these leads with you. I'll share entire lists of items for sale at various retail stores, keep you up to date on what sales and coupons and things are available to make that margin. So I encourage you to follow along. If you have any questions, reach out. I do work with people one-on-one. And if you have any questions, you can also leave a comment and I'll be sure to reply.